2022 was a pretty strong year for action figures. And as voted by you guys, the first top 10 list I'm going to do this year is top 10 action figures of 2022. This list will be action figures from the 3 3/4 inch to the 7-inch scale, so that also includes 6-inch. What you're seeing here is the Crimson Guard. This is an honorable mention. Really loved this guy, really looked forward to it. However, this year was pretty transformative for me when it comes to how I felt about Hasbro action figures. I love them. I love, figures like the Crimson Guard and certain Marvel Legends and things, but I actually sold off a decent amount of my Hasbro 6-inch Marvel Legends. And I just kind of realized that Hasbro 6-inch stuff isn't for me too much, so I kind of dialed it back, didn't really, didn't get as much, sold off stuff. So a figure like the Crimson Guard, while it's really cool and fun for me, I said cool twice because it's just that cool. However, despite being cool, it's not super fun for me. I posed it and I had fun with it. Like it's cool, it's fun, it's cool. But it doesn't speak to me as a toy like certain other things do. So even though the Crimson Guard is just an honorable mention, I did want to show him off. Anyways, let's get started. There's actually going to be a lot of vintage collection on this list because 3 3/4 inch is my main method of Star Wars collecting. There's one Black Series figure on this list. However, wanted to give a shout out to Vintage Collection Bo-Katan. She was early on in the year. However, this figure to me is one of the best 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures ever made, by far. It's very nice, very well done. Very much enjoy it. There's actually a lot of other nice TVC stuff that missed being on the list this year. Some of the Obi-Wan Kenobi figures are really great. Some of the other Mandalorians are really good, like the Super Commando and the Death Watch and all that. The Dark Trooper. I got the Vintage Collection Dark Trooper just at the end of the year, and it actually missed the list. It's a very nice figure, but I don't feel like it's as nice as the ones that I have on this top 10. So Bo-Katan is definitely worthy of being on the list. So, with her, let's pan out and point up, because next up is quite a leap from a little 3 3/4 inch Bo-Katan to McFarlane Bane. I love this Bane. It's very fun. It's big. It's chonky. It's Bane. I mean, come on, it's Bane. Who doesn't love Bane? It's not a perfect figure. I think it was very much lacking some fist hands. But overall, man, look at that Bane. It's definitely the biggest figure on the list. I can say that for sure. I've just been wanting a nice classic Bane for a long time. And while this isn't purely classic, and it's not purely perfect, it's very, very fun. I love this Bane. Even if another company comes out with a Bane that I prefer, there is that Mafex prototype floating around. If that comes out, I might get it. However, despite that, I will always have a spot in my collection for this huge, awesome, impressive McFarlane Bane. So let's kind of lean him to the back because we're gonna get some more figures on this list. So next up, these figures are repaints of figures that came out about a decade ago, but the amount of happy that the Vintage Collection Walmart exclusive ARC Troopers gave me, why are you tilted? There we go. The amount of happy that these releases gave me, unparalleled. They're only so far down on the list because this figure has been around for a decade. Despite that, though, the fact that we actually got Tartakovsky-style ARC Troopers in Vintage Collection that were decently accessible. They weren't the easiest to find, especially in stores. I never saw them in stores. Are you kidding? That's a laugh. However, they're easy to order. They went back up for order. They were available at other, fan channel outlets. If you wanted them, you were able to get them. I love them. I think they're great. They're not perfect. There's, always a couple little things they could have touched on or improved upon. However, man, I'm very happy to say that this is one of the few figures that I bought for I bought 10 of them at retail price because I knew that I needed the Monolith 10. I knew I needed it, so I had to get it. So there we go. They definitely had to be on the list. Those were some epic releases this year, even though they were revealed midway through 2021. Anyways, next up, this might be a controversial one because I know a lot of people have their issues with this guy. However, we're going back into the realm of McFarlane. I really love this Robert Pattinson Batman figure. Yes, I repainted the eyes to be looking straight because that bugged me enough. And it doesn't have the proper holster because, I don't know, concept art, I guess. But it's such a nice figure. Like, it cuts the silhouette of Robert Pattinson Batman perfectly. It's very posable, very fun, very nicely painted. The likeness to Robert Pattinson is spot on. I love this thing. I'm really excited to see what McFarlane does with their Dark Knight trilogy wave that they're going to be putting out probably sometime in 2023. But this is great. I love this Batman. It could be better, you know, as pretty much anything could ever be. Until we're getting to like the top 5. And then I think we're getting into, yeah, that's pretty solid. However, I really do enjoy this Batman. Definitely. It came out earlier in the year, but it was definitely for sure one I had to put on my list. Ah, come on, get back on there, you little belt thing. There we go. I don't even know if that loop's supposed to be for that. Because I know that peg's supposed to be for like pegging it into the hand. However, I just kind of think the grapnel gun looks good in there. Well, anyways, yeah, there's number whatever Batman is. He's on the list. Yet again, another controversial one, but hey, I like what I like. Number 6 goes to the Republic Commando boss from the Black Series. I think Scorch, that's coming up here soon, is going to be the best of the Republic Commandos. But I thought the Hunter mold, when it originally came out, was a damn solid figure, and, you know, repainting it in the Republic Commando colors, yeah, I'm digging it. Sure, I had to give him a better gun, and sure, mine's a factory error where he doesn't even have the dots on his chest. But you know what? It's fun. I have so much fun with this guy. It is a 6-inch articulated, fun to pose, fun to play with Republic Commando action figure. It's not perfectly accurate. It's not, but neither were the originals. You know, it's an action figure at the end of the day. If you want something perfectly accurate, look to Hot Toys. You know, because if you're complaining about certain little inaccuracies, then start complaining about pins and the joints and seeing the cuts and all that. You know, they're toys at the end of the day. Now, granted, when certain inaccuracies get to the point where it's like unrecognizable or just pure laziness, then yeah, I take issue. And some people think that this is a lazy release. However, Hunter, for the most part, his armor's Republic Commando armor. That's pretty much it. You know, his thigh armor's, you know, a little different from Republic Commando armor. You know, he doesn't have the elbow pads. It's ever so slightly different. You know, it's stylized. It's Clone Wars stylized. And this figure is just a repaint. And I think it's a decent repaint. I don't know. I just have a lot of fun with it. It's on my list. I really like it. It's my opinion. If you don't like it, then that's fine. You know, it's your opinion, man. I'm just saying, man. Let me tell you about Vintage Collection Dark Times Darth Vader. Ooh, we're getting into the top 5. This figure, mwah, chef's kiss. Best Vader Hasbro's ever put out in 6-inch and 3 3/4 inch. This thing is stunning. Super posable, super pretty, super nice. I love it. It is the best Vader, period. I'm tempted to get a second one just to have laying around, because you can never have too many figures of Darth Vader. He is the main man of the franchise. He is the number one. Like, undisputedly, you cannot argue that any other character is more significant than Anakin/Vader. And this is the best figure of him. Hands down. Even including Anakin figures. This is the best Anakin/Vader we've ever gotten from Hasbro. Top tier, upper echelon, definitely worthy of being on the list. I adore it. It's actually crazy, in the top 4, 2 of the slots are taken up by Marvel Legends. And one of them is this. This is that 2-pack Null Venom. It came with Null, got rid of the Null, don't even have the wings to this Venom anymore, because I just see this as what is essentially the perfect Venom figure. I mean, look at it. He's big, he's monstrous. Here, let's get him standing up. He's fully sculpted head to toe. He repaints the movie Venom mold, but he has like the classic Venom logo. He's got the classic, you know, head with the tongue sticking out, and he has an alternate head where he's got just the teeth gritting. Some people have seen pictures of this and they think it's the Marvel Select, but no, it's a super fun, super big, chunky, posable Marvel Legend. This is one of the most fun figures I've ever had in my entire collection, and I just adore it. Sure, he's got, you know, some little hole issues in his back, but, I mean, look at that. You can't even tell. You know, you can't even tell until you start turning it a little bit. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm happy that I was able to get the set on a sale for Black Friday and just get rid of the Null, because I didn't want Null. I'm not I'm not a Marvel Legends guy. I'm an action figure guy, and Marvel Legends just happen to be some pretty damn good action figures sometimes. So there's Venom, definitely worthy of being on the list. I adore that guy. This year gave us Hasbro's best 3 3/4 inch Star Wars action figure, and that is the Deluxe Book of Boba Fett. By far, it's the best they've done. By far. Sure, we had to pay for it, but they gave us extra accessories that I feel like made the deluxe price worth it. Some other deluxe figures have not been worth it. However, I feel like this Boba Fett was very worth it. It's stellar. The articulation is stellar. The feel is stellar. The head sculpt underneath, again, stellar. Like, look at that. That's Tamora Morrison right there. My camera is immediately picking it up as a face. It's amazing. Sure, he doesn't come with a gaffy stick, but if you're a long-term Star Wars collector like I am, you've got some extras laying around. Man. I actually display this guy like, I have a push pin on my wall, and I actually display him like jetting around like this. That's why he's in this pose. I love it, man. I love this figure so much. Definitely worthy of being number 3 on the list. I'm going to see if I can just kind of lean him, though, because I don't want to get him out of that pose. A lot of people have said G.I. Joe Classified is the number 1 toy line of the year, and I'm inclined to agree. However, I'm very picky with the ones I get, but one that I had to get was Kamakura. So, in my review of Kamakura, I stated how important this character is to me, and is to my childhood. It was my favorite G.I. Joe character growing up. I adored the original Spy Troops figure, I adored the Valor vs. Venom, I adored the Sigma 6. Kamakura is my main man. So the fact that we got him this early in G.I. Joe Classified blows my mind. Yes, he was a deluxe, and he just came with tons of extra weapons. I might give him the Snake Eyes or something, I don't know. I still have all the extra weapons because I have the original, like, you know, PulseCon, whatever, exclusive Snake Eyes. I got the very first Snake Eyes. You know, I got tons of weapons, but I only have like a few ninjas. It's an awesome figure, man. Look at this. It's by far my favorite Classified. That's why I knew, you know, let's not litter the list with Classified. Let's just put Kamakura on it. Because even though I enjoyed the Crimson Guard and the Cobra Bat and Dusty, those were the only other Classifieds I really got this year. Oh, I did get Storm Shadow as well, but this is very similar to Storm Shadow. I wouldn't put both on the list. You know, I really enjoy the Classifieds I've gotten this year, but Kamakura definitely is worthy of not only being on the list, but being number 2. I love him. I'm sure some of you have been pretty furious with some of my choices already, and this is a figure that I'm shocked is not number 1 on everybody's list. I'm shocked, and I'm actually going to discuss my opinion on this and why is it not on people's list. My number 1, and yes, I swapped the head out because I wanted him to just look a little different. My number 1 action figure of 2022 is the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. I have not had this much fun with an action figure in so long. Renew Your Vows Spidey is amazing. And yes, he's standing on his toe right now. He's on a toe. This figure is nothing short of incredible. So why does everyone put the first appearance Spidey above this one? I don't understand. So I want to voice my opinion on this because it's been irking me so much seeing the first appearance Spidey above Renew Your Vows. Now, granted, yes, my Renew Your Vows looks a little nicer depending on your mask preference because I swapped it out with the the Ben Reilly Spider-Man head because I just thought it would look nicer. However, I think what holds people back from putting the Renew Your Vows on the list is the fact that it was in a 2-pack with Spinneret. And the Spinneret, like, yeah, it's a nice figure, but it's not worthy of being top 10, and people kind of clump it together. Some people, I guess, aren't really ready to accept toe articulation into their lives. I guess we got to start knocking on doors for that. But I don't know, like, people talk about the first appearance Spidey being, oh, it's the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Yeah, but it still has a hinge, like a ball hinge thing at the neck. The wings on the arms don't work too well. I feel like the sculpt is a lot flatter than the Renew Your Vows. The symbol on the back isn't the right color. And he doesn't have toe articulation. I feel like there's so many things holding it back. Now, sure, like, I've handled one in hand. It's a fun figure. It's really fun. It's very similar in fun factor to the Renew Your Vows. But I just feel like, you know, the alternate hand options, the unmasked head on Renew Your Vows, the toe articulation, the dumbbell joint at the neck, The fact that it's classic red and blue Spidey, the extra muscle sculpt, I think this is the best Spider-Man. I don't really see how the first appearance beats this one. I just don't. The first appearance has too many things holding it back from being the best. Now, I'm sure, they'll repaint the first appearance mold into a more classic Spider-Man, and some people may go for that. However, I just think that this one, with the shades of blue and the shades of red and the toe articulation and everything going on, this figure is remarkably fun. It's so fun. If you are an action figure fan in general, and you do not have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, please, it's on sale for the 2-pack's on sale for $40 in many places. If you want to sell off the Spinneret, feel free. It's a nice Marvel Legends female action figure. I think it's worth having, but Spider-Man's the main event for the set, and I think it's by far the best Spider-Man figure ever made, especially from Hasbro. Now, granted, a lot of people say, oh, the Mafex is great. You need to get the Mafex. You're doing yourself a disservice not having the Mafex. This thing costs a fourth of what the Mafex does, and I think it accomplishes far more than a fourth of what the Mafex does. A lot of people don't factor that in. It's a fourth of the price, but it does a lot more than a fourth of what that expensive one does. So, yeah, the Mafex one, it's probably a better figure. I want to get it at some point for sure. It's on my list of things I'll get eventually. However, the fact that it is nearly $100 and this is, $25, from a 2-pack that costs, $50 to $40, I think it's the winner out of the two, because you have to consider value for money when it comes to action figures, man. A lot of people don't. They don't factor in the value for your money, but you got to. You got to factor in the value. So I personally think this Renew Your Vows is the best Spidey ever made. That's just me. I have accepted that the McFarlane Spider-Man, the old Toy Biz one, I think has been dethroned because this one's just so fun, so amazing, so playable. And that old McFarlane one, yes, I think aesthetically looks gorgeous, but it's not going to be as fun as something like this. So there we go. There is my very controversial, very dicey top 10 action figure list. In a world where 6-inch scale action figure collectors reign supreme, the fact that me, just being a general toy fan that collects, different scales from different types, and I don't collect Black Series, and I'm not a big Marvel Legends guy, my weird ways of collecting, this video is probably going to infuriate some people. Why wasn't this on the list, or this, or this? Why is this on the list? It's an awful figure. You're not a good enough action figure collector to put, McFarlane, Robert Pattinson, Batman on your list instead of blah, blah, blah. I do what I do, man. These are my top 10 favorites. If you have your top 10 favorites, post them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Just don't say that I am wrong for liking what I like, because I love these. At the end of the day, toy collecting is about loving what you love. It's not about, missing out. A lot of people, they fall into this pit with action figure collecting where they see their friends talk about oh, this is the latest, greatest action figure, and they feel like they're missing out because they don't have it, even though they don't collect to that line whatsoever. So why do you feel like you're missing out on something that you don't even really feel you need? Because other people enjoy it? Yeah, people are going to enjoy tons of other things. I go into these weird realms of different toy sections, and I see people get super excited about things that I would never dream of collecting, but I start thinking, man, maybe I should buy it. But it's no, I can admire it without buying it. Everyone has their own sections of collecting, and not just action figures. Some people would say here's my top 10 toys of 2022. Number 10 is Lionel Train, blah, 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 H scale, whatever. There's so many different kinds of toys, dude. So many different kinds. And it's more than just action figures, but for this list especially, we're focused on the action figures. I have a couple more lists to do. Actually, a few more robots like Transformers and Gundam are going to be next. And then we're going to be taking a look at 1/6 scale pickups. And then we're going to be taking a look at the just the general pickups of anything. Things that weren't released in 2022 that I got in the year. Alrighty, guys, there we go. Thank you so much for listening to my insane ramblings and my passionate speeches on the hobby that we all share of toy and action figure collecting. Thank you very much for watching. Alrighty guys, thank you so much again. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.